Secret societies that shaped history. Imagine a world where powerful secrets were kept hidden, whispered only in shadows, shaping the very ground you walk on. What if history's biggest moments weren't just made by kings and armies, but by mysterious groups meeting in secret? These hidden societies, often shrouded in myth, truly pulled strings behind the scenes, changing the course of ancient times in ways we are only now starting to understand. From the dawn of civilization, people have come together for shared beliefs, hidden knowledge, or simply to gain power. These groups created secret rituals, strange symbols, and unbreakable oaths. They were masters of disguise, their influence stretching further than any official record dared to show. Think of it like a hidden game of chess, where the true players were never seen, only their moves on the board. One of the oldest and most fascinating of these groups were the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. These weren't schools with chalkboards and teachers like today. Instead, they were places of deep, hidden learning, tied closely to the temples and the pharaohs themselves. People who wanted to join had to go through long, hard tests. They had to prove they were worthy of knowing the deepest secrets of the universe, life, and death. These schools, according to ancient texts like the pyramid texts studied by Egyptologists, focused on things like astronomy, math, and understanding the soul. They believed that knowing these secrets would bring a person closer to the gods. They taught about the journey of the soul after death, the power of numbers, and how the stars moved. Only a chosen few were allowed into these inner circles. The priests and priestesses in these schools were seen as incredibly wise. They were often advisors to the pharaohs, helping them make big decisions. Think about the incredible pyramids or the complex rituals for the dead. These weren't just random ideas. Many historians, like those at the British Museum, suggest these elaborate constructions and beliefs came from the teachings passed down through these secret groups. They held the keys to knowledge that was literally thousands of years old. They guarded their knowledge fiercely. If you broke your oath or revealed a secret, the punishment was very severe, sometimes even death. This extreme secrecy made their power grow even larger. People feared what they didn't understand, and the mystery schools became legends in their own time. They truly believed they were working with divine forces, using their wisdom to protect Egypt and guide its people. Moving further west, to ancient Greece, we find another powerful and mysterious group, the Orphics. This wasn't a political party or a simple religious group. Orphism was a whole new way of looking at life, death, and the soul. It centered around the mythical poet and musician Orpheus, who was said to have gone to the underworld and returned. This idea of traveling to the land of the dead and back was very powerful. According to a 2018 study published in the Journal of Hellenic Studies, Orpheism offered a different path to its followers than the traditional Greek gods like Zeus and Hera. It taught that the human soul was divine, a piece of a god, but trapped in a body. The goal of an Orphic was to purify their soul through specific rituals, a strict way of living, and avoiding certain foods like meat. They wanted to break free from the cycle of rebirth. They had their own sacred books, often written on thin gold tablets found in tombs, which gave instructions to the dead on how to find their way in the underworld. These tablets, analyzed by researchers at the University of Cambridge, provided a map to avoid dangers and reach a blessed afterlife. This was a radical idea for many Greeks who simply believed in a shadowy existence after death. Orphics met in secret, sharing their special knowledge and performing their purification rituals away from public eyes. Their beliefs about the soul's journey and purification were very different from mainstream Greek religion. Because of this, they often faced suspicion, but their ideas spread far and wide, influencing great thinkers like Pythagoras and Plato. Plato's ideas about the soul and the perfect world owed much to Orphic teachings. These groups, with their secret meetings and strange ideas, offered something powerful: hope for a better afterlife and a deeper understanding of existence. They weren't just small clubs. They were movements that changed how people thought about life and death itself, laying groundwork for future philosophies and religions. Their impact was subtle but deep, like roots growing quietly beneath the surface. Then there were the Pythagoreans, named after the famous mathematician Pythagoras. Most people know Pythagoras for his famous theorem about triangles. A superscript 2 plus b superscript 2 equals c superscript 2. But Pythagoras was much more than just a math teacher. He led a powerful, secret society in ancient Italy around 500 BC. This group was not just about numbers. It was about a whole way of life, a philosophy, and even a political movement. The Pythagoreans believed that numbers were the key to understanding the entire universe. They thought everything, from music to the movement of stars, could be explained with mathematical ratios. A 2020 article in Scientific American highlighted how Pythagoras' group saw numbers as sacred, not just tools for counting. They explored geometry, astronomy, and the harmony of music with a mystical intensity. Members of the Pythagorean Brotherhood, as it was often called, lived a very strict life. They followed special rules about what to eat, many were vegetarian, how to dress, and even how to behave. They believed in the transmigration of souls, meaning that after death, a soul could move into another body, even in animals. This belief made them respect all life. Meetings were held in secret, and new members had to go through a long period of silence and testing. They swore oaths not to reveal the group's secrets to outsiders. The symbol of the group was the pentagram, a five-pointed star, which held deep mathematical and spiritual meaning for them. They shared all their belongings and knowledge, creating a true community. Their influence wasn't just in math and music. The Pythagoreans also became politically powerful in the cities where they lived, like Croton in Magna Graecia, southern Italy. They advocated for justice and a moral way of living. However, their secrecy and strict rules sometimes caused trouble. Eventually, their political power led to backlash, and many of their communities were attacked and disbanded, but their ideas lived on, carried by students who escaped. The core ideas of the Pythagoreans, the deep meaning of numbers, the harmony of the spheres, and the purification of the soul, traveled through history, influencing later thinkers, scientists, and even religious groups. According to a 2019 report by the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, their legacy can be seen in the works of Plato and many others who followed. They proved that a secret society built on intellectual and spiritual ideas could truly shape the world of thought. Next, let's journey to ancient Rome, where a different kind of secret society thrived, the cult of Mithras. This cult was very popular among Roman soldiers, merchants, and even emperors from the 1st to the 4th centuries AD. It was a mystery religion, meaning its rituals and beliefs were kept secret from outsiders, only revealed to those who were initiated. The central figure of this cult was the god Mithras, who was often depicted as slaying a bull in a cave. This scene, known as the Tauroctony, was very important and filled with symbolic meaning that only initiates understood. Scholars, including those at the Mithraeum of Santa Prisca in Rome, have found that the bull slaying represented Mithras bringing life and order to the cosmos, a powerful image for soldiers facing chaos in battle. Mithraea, the temples where the cult met, were usually underground or built to look like caves. They were small, dark spaces, perfect for secret gatherings. Inside, benches lined the sides for members to recline during their sacred meals. These meals, which included bread and wine, were part of their rituals, bringing members closer together in a shared, secret experience. Initiation into the cult of Mithras involved a series of 7 grades or levels, each with its own symbols, rituals, and planet associations. To move up a grade, a member had to undergo specific tests and learn new secrets. This gradual unveiling of knowledge created a strong bond among members and a deep sense of belonging. A 2017 analysis by the University of Oxford's Classics Department emphasizes the military-like structure and discipline within the cult. The cult was very popular with Roman soldiers because it emphasized bravery, loyalty, and brotherhood, qualities vital for military life. It offered a sense of purpose and a path to salvation. Even though it was a secret society, its influence was widespread across the Roman Empire. Archaeologists have found Mithraea, from Hadrian's Wall in Britain to the deserts of Syria. While the cult of Mithras didn't directly rule Rome, its widespread popularity among the military and elite undoubtedly influenced the social and spiritual fabric of the empire. It offered a powerful alternative to the official state religion, giving many Romans a more personal and meaningful connection to the divine. Its disappearance after the rise of Christianity remains one of history's great mysteries, but its mark on Roman life was undeniable. Let's not forget the Eleusinian mysteries in ancient Greece, perhaps the most famous and long-lasting of all ancient secret societies. For nearly 2,000 years, from about 1500 BC to 392 AD, people journeyed to the town of Eleusis near Athens to take part in these annual rites. Kings, philosophers, and ordinary people all participated, but what happened inside was kept absolutely secret. The mysteries honored Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, and her daughter Persephone. The story goes that Persephone was kidnapped by Hades, the god of the underworld, causing Demeter to mourn so deeply that the earth stopped producing food. When Persephone finally returned, bringing spring, it became a story about death and rebirth, a cycle important for both nature and human souls. According to a 2021 study in the journal Classical Antiquity, the Eleusinian mysteries were divided into lesser mysteries in the spring and greater mysteries in the fall. To become a full initiate, you had to participate in both. The journey to Eleusis itself was a ritual, a long procession from Athens, with purification rites along the way. What exactly happened during the main ceremony, known as the epoptia, remains one of history's greatest secrets. Initiates swore a sacred oath never to reveal what they saw or heard. Anyone who broke this oath faced the death penalty. We know they entered a great hall called the Telesterion, where they witnessed sacred objects and experienced something profound. Many scholars believe the experience involved a dramatic reenactment of the Persephone myth, perhaps using special lighting, sounds, or even hallucinogenic substances. Plato himself suggested that those who participated gained a deeper understanding of life and death, and faced death with greater hope. It offered the promise of a blessed afterlife, a very comforting idea in a world often filled with uncertainty. The Eleusinian mysteries provided a unique spiritual experience that transcended social class. Everyone, from slaves to emperors, could be initiated as long as they spoke Greek and hadn't committed murder. This inclusivity and the profound promise of a better afterlife ensured its incredible longevity. Its powerful secrecy kept its core message pure and revered for 2 millennia, shaping the spiritual lives of countless ancient Greeks and Romans. Consider the assassins of medieval Persia and Syria, a highly organized and terrifying secret society that emerged around the 11th century. While not strictly ancient, in the same vein as Egyptians or Greeks, their methods and deep secrecy connect them directly to the power of hidden groups. They were known for their political murders, targeting powerful enemies with a chilling precision. The assassins were part of a smaller, more radical branch of Islam, known as the Nizuri Ismailis. Their leader was Hassan I-Sabah, known as the Old Man of the Mountain, who established his fortress at Alamut in northern Persia. From this mountain stronghold, he commanded a network of highly trained agents, according to a 2019 historical analysis from the University of London School of Oriental and African Studies. These agents, known as Fidei, were fiercely loyal and utterly devoted to their leader. They were meticulously trained in espionage, disguise, and close-quarters combat. Their missions were often daring, involving infiltrating enemy courts and striking down their targets in public, sending a powerful message of fear and influence. The word assassin itself comes from the Arabic hashishin, a term their enemies used to mock them, suggesting they used drugs to become fearless. However, modern historians like those at the Iranica Online Project argue that the drug stories were likely propaganda spread by their enemies to discredit them. Their true power lay in their unwavering discipline, their strong belief system, and their unparalleled network of intelligence. They truly believed in their cause and their leader's divine authority. The assassins didn't field large armies. Instead, they used targeted killings to achieve political goals, dismantle enemy leadership, and spread their influence. Their victims included caliphs, sultans, and crusader lords. This psychological warfare created a climate of fear, making their enemies hesitate and often bend to their will. Their secret network allowed them to gather information and strike when least expected. Their story is a powerful example of how a small, highly disciplined, and secret group, using specific methods, could challenge and influence much larger empires. They operated in the shadows, creating legends and shaping the politics of the Middle East for over 200 years, until their strongholds were destroyed by the Mongol invasion in the mid-13th century. Now let's step into the mysterious realm of Druids in ancient Celtic societies across Britain, Ireland, and Gaul, modern France. These were not just priests, they were judges, teachers, healers, and keepers of sacred knowledge. They formed a powerful, secret spiritual class that wielded immense influence over the Celtic tribes, as chronicled by ancient Roman writers like Julius Caesar. Caesar, in his book Commentarii de Bello Gallico, Commentaries on the Gallic War, described the Druids as the most respected class in Gaul. He noted that they were exempt from war and taxes, holding a special, almost divine status. They taught young men for up to 20 years, instructing them in oral traditions, philosophy, astronomy, and the nature of the gods. All of this knowledge was passed down by word of mouth, never written down. This oral tradition was a key to their secrecy and power. By not writing down their knowledge, they controlled access to it completely. Only those who underwent their rigorous training could learn the sacred lore. This created an exclusive group, holding the keys to wisdom that dictated laws, resolved disputes, and guided religious rituals. A 2022 archaeological review by the University of Edinburgh highlighted new evidence supporting the Druids' role in large ritual gatherings. Druids met in sacred groves and other natural spaces, away from public eyes. Their rituals often involved sacrifices, divination, predicting the future, and complex ceremonies related to the cycles of nature, the moon, and the sun. They acted as intermediaries between humans and the gods, their blessings or curses believed to have powerful effects. Their influence was vast. No important public or private decision could be made without their approval. They could excommunicate individuals, meaning banning them from religious ceremonies, which was considered a severe punishment in Celtic society. This gave them immense social and political sway. They were the glue that held Celtic society together, the guardians of their culture and beliefs. However, with the Roman conquest of Gaul and Britain, the Druids faced fierce suppression. The Romans saw them as a threat to their authority, especially their resistance to Roman rule and their human sacrifice practices. Many were persecuted and killed, and their sacred groves destroyed. Despite this, their legacy as mysterious, wise, and powerful figures has lived on, shaping our understanding of ancient Celtic culture. Finally, we consider the very concept of secret wisdom in early philosophical schools. Thinkers like Plato, with his Academy, or Aristotle, with his Lyceum, might not seem like secret societies in the cloak and dagger sense. However, they had inner circles, specific initiation rites, and levels of teaching where deeper, more esoteric knowledge was only revealed to advanced students. Plato's Academy, for instance, was a school dedicated to philosophical inquiry. While some teachings were public, there were undoubtedly deeper doctrines and discussions reserved for committed followers. As noted by the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy in 2015, Plato's unwritten doctrines were a set of highly complex metaphysical theories taught only orally to his closest students, never put into his famous dialogues. These were the true secrets of his philosophy. These unwritten doctrines dealt with the fundamental principles of the universe, numbers, and the forms. They were considered too complex or too sacred for the general public, only to be understood by those who had undergone extensive training and intellectual preparation. This created a secret, hierarchical system of knowledge within a seemingly open philosophical school. Similarly, other philosophical schools, like those of the Neoplatonists in later antiquity, also adopted practices of secrecy and gradual revelation. They believed that certain truths could only be understood after years of intellectual and spiritual discipline. The process of learning was an initiation, transforming the student and revealing deeper layers of reality. These philosophical, secret societies didn't engage in political assassinations or widespread rituals like the Eleusinian mysteries. Their power was intellectual. They shaped how people thought, how they understood reality, and how they governed themselves. The ideas born in these quiet, often hidden, discussions went on to influence millennia of Western thought, science, and even religion. From the priests of ancient Egypt guiding pharaohs with hidden knowledge, to the Orphics seeking spiritual purity, to Pythagoras unlocking the universe with numbers, to the Roman soldiers finding brotherhood in Mithras, to the Druids holding vast cultural power, and finally to philosophers like Plato with their unwritten doctrines, secret societies have always been a vibrant, often unseen, force. They operated on the fringes, in the shadows, or within the very fabric of society, but their impact was anything but minor. These groups, with their oaths, symbols, and guarded wisdom, shaped belief systems, political landscapes, and the very course of human thought. They remind us that history is not just made by the visible powers, but also by the powerful whispers, hidden meetings, and secret understandings that unfold behind the curtain of time. The secrets they kept are still whispering to us today, if we only know how to listen.